Hello and welcome to Football Friday. And you may be thinking, it's not Friday, so how can you film Football Friday? Well, I'm not going to be filming Football Friday. Instead, I'm going to be filming a mini series about the season that clubs have had so far. I will be filming Football Friday and it will be coming out on Friday, but this is just a mini series that I'll start on this channel. And if you do like it, please like and subscribe to see more. Starting off this mini series will be the team of Crystal Palace. Now, this is a team that has gone from playing boring football under Roy Hodgson to playing a more expansive style of football, a more energetic style of football under manager Patrick Vieira. And even though Patrick Vieira has done wonders for this club, there is still a lot of things that need to be fixed. One of the areas that Patrick Vieira needs to improve on is the attack. Crystal Palace under Roy Hodgson and even people before him, Palace have never really had a star out attack. We've played counter attacking football, which means we need quick wingers. People like Wilfred Zaha was perfect for that play. But under Patrick Vieira, it's not about the counter attack anymore. It's about keeping the ball and having most of the possession of the ball. And that does work. But the problem is Palace are just unable to find lots of goals. They're sort of allergic to scoring goals at sometimes. It's quite frustrating. As a Palace fan, sometimes I think that Wilfred Zaha, Edouard, and even Ayew just don't want to take shots because either they're too scared they'll miss or they're too scared that the keeper will save it. And the stats back me up on this. A prime example would be Norwich 1, Crystal Palace 1. Crystal Palace had, if not all of the possession in the first half, yet only had one shot on target. I don't know why. I didn't get to watch the first half, sadly. I only got to watch the second half. But I don't get how we were only able to have one shot on target. Either Norwich's defence was so good we just couldn't break them down, or our attack was so bad that we just weren't able to get anything from it. But there is one bright spark for the Palace attack, and that is 20-year-old Michael Olise. At the point of recording this video, Michael Olise has had 2 goals and 4 assists in the Premier League. Now, on paper, that doesn't seem much, but it's what he can do on the pitch to help an attack. He's so skillful, and in games against Millwall, we saw how skillful he really was. And if he stays at Palace, could be the future of this attack. Moving on now to transfers, and I'll be talking about both windows and who Palace have brought in and who Palace have lost. Starting off with the departures, Patrick Van Aanholt left for Galatasaray on a free transfer. Andros Townsend left for Everton on a free transfer. Mamadou Sakho went to Montpellier, and I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that name wrong, but oh well, on a free transfer. James McArthur moved to Celtic on a free transfer. Scott Dann went to the Championship with Reading for a free transfer. Gary Cahill also went back down to the Championship on a free transfer to Bournemouth. And lastly, Wayne Hennessy stayed in the Premier League and moved to Burnley. Sorry, this is a future Aiden here, but it's not James McArthur leaving, it's James McCarthy. Don't worry, James McArthur is still at Crystal Palace. He's come back from injury, but he is still at Crystal Palace. But yeah, I did get that one wrong. Sorry. Now we can move on to the people coming into Crystal Palace. Now, for this segment, I'll be rating the signings from 1 to 10, just so I can give you a sort of overview on how I think they've performed this season. Starting with Marc Guéhi. Now, I would give him a 7 this season. The youngster came in for 21 million and has been a very, very solid defender, scoring himself 2 goals in the Premier League. Next on the list, we do have Joachim Andersen, the former Fulham loanee. Now, I'd give him a 6.5. He's had a great start. He had a very good start, but I feel like after his injury, he hasn't been at his best. He's still a good defender, and for only 15 million, I think he was definitely a bargain, but he definitely isn't as good as Mark Gahey, who I think is probably one of the best defenders we've had in a while. And we come to my favourite signing of them all. And I will give him more time to settle into the Premier League before we see him at his best. But Osman Edouard, who moved for 14 million from Celtic to join Crystal Palace, he has been our, well, behind Conor Gallagher, he is our top goal scorer. And to be honest, when you watch him play, he is a completely different forward to what we are used to. We are used to big men like Benteke, big men that can hold up the ball, that can brush defenders aside, push them off the ball. Osman Edouard is not that player, and that is why I feel like we need to wait to see what he can do. Because Patrick Vieira has tried him on the left, he's tried him in the middle, he's trying to find where he's suited best. I think he's still suited best at striker, but I have liked some of his performances out on the left. But that does bring up the question, will Zaha be replaced? Because if Osman Edouard is permanently moved to the left, it's going to be a battle for Zaha to keep his spot over Edouard. So will Zaha move because of that? I'm going to quickly rate the rest of the signings quickly because the rest of them are good, but not as good as the first ring I mentioned. Jean-Philippe Mateta's permanent move to Crystal Palace for 9.9 million. He's a great player. He's a better Benteke in my opinion, but can't wait to see him. Michael Elise, I'll give him a 8 out of 10. Brilliant player. I've already talked about him in this video, so I won't go into that much detail. But yes, he is the future if he stays at Crystal Palace. Will Hughes, 7 out of 10. He has tried to fill in the role of James McArthur while he's been out injured, and that's not how I want him to be played. He isn't that box to box midfielder James McArthur is, but he is still a very good player, and he did win us that penalty against Norwich the first time we played them, which was in a 3-0 win. And finally, Conor Gallagher. I should have really included him in the best or the first three, but I didn't. But Conor Gallagher is a brilliant midfielder. I will argue with anyone to say he's been the best midfielder Crystal Palace have had in quite a while. Now, this is saying if he continues to put these performances. If he turns out to be, if we buy him next season, or even if he goes back to Chelsea and he performs really badly, I will say the season he had at Crystal Palace was the best midfielding display I have seen in a while besides Eberici Eze's last season. And even that, Conor Gallagher's this season performance rivaled what Eze was doing last season because Gallagher was doing this on a constant basis at the start of the season. He's sort of wearing off now, but that could be because maybe he's running out of energy. Maybe he's just not motivated anymore. Or well, it could be because he's just returned from a mild injury and he won't be able to play against Chelsea, which means James McArthur will have a good chance to get back into the squad. Or even Eze, because I'd like to see Eze coming back into the squad. I think he's a good player and definitely could change a game like a game against Chelsea. Now, to end it off, I'm just going to rate what they've done in total out of 10. I think it's a solid 7. What Patrick Vieira has done is amazing. If he continues to manage the way he's managing, I have no doubt he will be a great manager. Now, if you did enjoy the video, please do go down, hit the like button and subscribe. It has been Aidan from Football Friday, and good night.